Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
We are talking today about some new and exciting developments with coronavirus treatments. But before we do that, I will do just a minute of storytelling. Now, why am I wearing this shirt? Some of you might have also noticed that this is a little bit too sharp or smart for me. Nice black shirt. You usually don't find me wearing these. Now, the history there is that this morning, when the sad news came that Rishi Kapoor had passed away, NDTV started playing an old walk the talk that I had recorded with him, a delightful walk the talk at RK Studio in Mumbai. Now, there we discovered that I was wearing a black shirt, and I said, I don't remember if I own this shirt anymore. Where did this shirt go? So I started searching for it, and I found this shirt, and I am wearing this today as a tribute to Rishi Kapoor after 13 years. That interview was in 2007, and after that I thought maybe I grew too old for this shirt, or this shirt grew too young for me, and stopped wearing it. So this is today being worn as a tribute to Rishi Kapoor. So this story out of the way, I will now come back to some of these new discoveries on coronavirus. Now, the most exciting thing you must have, I'm quite sure you must have seen, heard, read, is the announcement by Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is a widely respected, globally widely respected doctor. And he's somebody whose big challenge these days is to keep a straight face when Trump makes his boo-boos in his press conferences. So yesterday, they took no such chances. In the Oval Room of the White House, they spoke to the media, and Dr. Fauci spoke to the media. 5-minute clip, you can watch that clip. We'll give you a link, and I shared it on Twitter also. What did he say? He said that Remdesivir, which is a drug manufactured by Gilead, the American firm. Now, manufactured also is a kind of a misnomer, because this drug was designed to fight the earlier SARS, and then it was used for Ebola. It was designed to find coronaviruses, but those coronaviruses went away, or they remained very confined to some areas. So this drug wasn't quite needed. Similarly, for Ebola, this work failed. It wasn't quite needed. When COVID-19 broke out in China, some doctors tried it. They saw some response, and so Gilead started research work on this. Now, as Gilead started, and as some US doctors used it in emergencies and found it useful, the premier American institution which Dr. Fauci heads, which is the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases, they started a large trial on this drug on February 21 this year. It takes a long time for drug trials to go through. In this case, it's really been fast forwarded. So Feb 21, as Dr. Fauci told us in his statement from the White House, more than 1,090 patients were selected for this trial. This is what he described as a high-powered trial. Now, when in our country we hear high-powered, we might think immediately, oh, that means very high-powered doctors like Dr. Fauci are involved. It's not like that. Science doesn't recognize any individual's power. High-powered here means how many patients are being admitted to trial. Because if you just had 100 patients or 50 patients, it will be a very low-powered trial. So the more the number of patients, the more high-powered the trial. So this is a trial of more than 1,090 patients, not just in America, but in a lot of other countries. He didn't list all of them. I think when the paper comes out, we'll see all of these. So we don't know if there were any Indian patients here or not. But this had patients in Denmark, Germany, Finland, France, in many countries, because you also have to collect that many patients. And this is a double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized trial. Now, what exactly that is, our science editor Sandhya Ramesh will tell you in a separate video. But very briefly, double-blind means when you have a bunch of patients some of whom are given, or about a half of whom are being given the real drug. The other half are just given maybe sugar pills, placebo, but the drugs look the same. So nobody knows who's getting what. That's why double blind. Even the doctors giving these drugs don't know who's being given what. That's why double blind. Randomized because you haven't chosen any patient on the basis of the patient's condition to decide whether that patient should get the real drug or placebo or a sugar pill. Quoted the same way. Drug, injection, whatever the method of delivery. Third, randomized, I told you. And third, placebo controlled. That is implicit in the first explanation, because in a trial where everybody gets the drug, then there is no knowing if the same patients would have also improved without the drug also or not. That is one of the problems that we are having right now with some small studies that have come up, say with hydroxychloroquine or with plasma therapy. In Delhi, for example, 5 patients have been given plasma therapy, all 5 have recovered. But we don't know if those 5 would not have recovered nevertheless, because a very large majority of COVID-19 patients do recover, even when they get into critical care situation or ICU situations. So again, for plasma therapy to also pass the test, you need maybe several hundred cases, and again, it will have to be randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled. Some people will get the plasma, some people will get maybe just saline water, maskless plasma, and then you will see how this works, because you need to compare. So this is a large, very large, high-powered, randomized, placebo-controlled trial. Now, what's happened with this trial? So Dr. Fauci again explained that what you have got now is not a silver bullet. It is not like some antibiotic comes up to treat one bug and it works, boom, at that point until the bug gets resistant to it. It's not like that. But it tells you that there is a route. First of all, it tells you that this so-and-so virus has some vulnerabilities. Until now, we thought that nothing can stop this virus. Nothing can cut it, nothing can pierce it, nothing can burn it, nothing can poison it. But now you found a vulnerability in the virus. So what this drug does is, this drug attacks one of the enzymes the virus uses. That's a polymerase enzyme. The success rate with this was measured, as Dr. Fauci explained. He called this study Adaptive Covirus Disease Treatment Trial, that is ACDTT2. Now, the end point of this study, that is where you decide whether it works or not. Primary endpoint is time to recovery. That is the time at which the patient can be discharged from hospital. So if you compare the time to recovery on this, then patients on the drug were discharged on an average in 11 days. Patients not on the drug, 15 days. Fatality rate, 8% died among those who were on the drug, little over 11% among those not on the drug. So both are about a 30-31% differences. Now, once again, 31%, as Dr. Fauci said, is not your 100% knockout punch, but it's an improvement. Most importantly, his words, this opens the door. Now you know that this is where you attack the virus. So just as this drug will now be used to attack the virus on the polymerase area, other companies will now start working on drugs to attack other enzymes that the virus uses, because the virus uses a lot of enzymes. In fact, I will tell you more about the enzymes as we talk about monoclonal antibodies. So this is a route that is open, and the example that Dr. Fauci used was of the AIDS drug AZT. AZT, everybody knows it as AZT or AZT. It stands for azithromycin. Now, he says that for years after AIDS broke out, there was no treatment. Doctors were helpless, and he is essentially an AIDS researcher. In fact, even the chief scientist at our ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Ganga Khedkar, is also an HIV/AIDS researcher. So he talks about, Dr. Fauci talks about how in 1986 first trials of AZT came up and they showed some effect on HIV, on AIDS. And he said those were very modest. In fact, as I read up on that, I read up an old Time magazine cover story on that, and I'll give you a link of that. You can read that. In fact, the impact that AZT showed initially was even less statistically than what remdesivir is showing now. But what that did was it opened the door. It for the first time told us that the AIDS virus had weaknesses, you could attack it. And then every year, every few months, better drugs came in. Today, HIV/AIDS, HIV discovered early, diagnosed early, can be treated like a chronic disease. It's uncomfortable, you have to take a cocktail of drugs, but if there are 40 plus drugs now, and most people who take the treatment, who can afford the treatment, can pretty much carry on with the rest of their lives without falling sick. So this is the kind of door opening that you've seen now with this disease, and this is remdesivir. So once again, Dr. Fauci's words, what remdesivir is given to us now is a proof of concept. You are now, this is now proven that this drug works, and this route, this concept to controlling the virus works. So taking you back to AZT, because I read up on this a little bit. In fact, the trial started with 300 patients. It was controversial because it was seen like US FDA had hurried into the trial because not enough safety work had been done as yet. But they did that, and when they did that, within 16 weeks, although trial had to go on for longer, within 16 weeks, the company Burroughs Wellcome said, stop the trial. Not because it was harming anybody, but because they said the trial is already showing so much benefit that it's not fair ethically to continue giving those in the placebo group only placebo treatment. So they should also get the AZT treatment. Something similar in a way is happening here, because this has also been fast forwarded. Now I think it's a matter of a few days, I suspect. And so it seems before US FDA gives approval for remdesivir to be used as a standard treatment in emergency patients or critical care patients where it is needed. Now, one more very interesting coincidence. When a new disease comes, what happens? How do you find a new drug? Developing a new drug, putting it through the system, research, etc., and all the trials can take up to 10 years. So, do you want humankind to suffer for 10 years with the same disease and for millions and millions to die? So, the first thing scientists do is to search for drugs that might already be available. That's how hydroxychloroquine, that's why azithromycin, and that's why we had earlier in a Cut the Clutter spoken about Dr. Ioannidis from Stanford University, who talked about also this research on several old drugs which many different groups were working on to see it might work with this. So AZT itself was not a drug that was designed to fight the AIDS virus, HIV, because it would have taken a long time. AZT was a drug that was designed in the 60s to fight cancers. Why? Because the presumption then was that this drug will go and fight the DNA of the cancerous cells and stop them from replicating. That drug failed as a cancer drug. This was available, and because this theoretical background was there that this drug can interfere with the DNA, it was then tried with HIV. So it worked. Remdesivir again, similar story, similar Atmakatha. Remdesivir was designed to fight earlier SARS coronaviruses, didn't work, was then designed to fight, when used to fight Ebola, didn't quite work, but the drug was there, all the work was done, and obviously some safety trials, etc., had also been done in the past. So it is not a new drug that's now been discovered. This is how drug discovery takes place. So fascinating. Also then Dr. Fauci said that one, we had to announce it early also because ethical principles tell you that when something works in a trial, then you have to tell those who are getting the placebo treatment. They didn't know they were getting this placebo. The doctors who are treating them didn't know they were getting the placebo. It's another committee of safety and supervisory scientists who know all that. So, in fairness, you have to now tell these placebo people that, look, you were not getting the drug. It now seems that this drug is working. So you, if you want, you can get the drug itself. And then he said the next trials now will take place with a combination, that is remdesivir plus a monoclonal antibody. Now, monoclonal antibody is something we've spoken about before. These are sort of immune system proteins created in a lab. So what you do is get a parent cell from a body. If you remember correctly, this is what Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw spoke about in her Off the Cuff with us. This is the project she is also doing with Dr. Siddharth Mukherjee. So you get some of these antibody cells from a real human being and you replicate them, you multiply them, you clone them in a lab, and you then put them back in the patient's body. And these antibodies then go and fight the virus once again by attacking the virus's proteins. Because what is coronavirus? It has these spike proteins that we've spoken about many times. So there are 13 strains of antibodies that our body's white blood cells, white blood corpuscles produce that attack the spike proteins of the coronavirus. And there are 12 others that attack another set of proteins called nucleocapsid proteins. So if you attack any of these proteins, and that's why your body is fighting the virus. Your body's ultimately you recover because your body's antibodies defeat the virus. In this case, you take antibodies from your body, clone them, you get a lot more of those, so you get immediate reinforcements, immediate ammunition resupplies, or whatever you call it, firepower, so you can fight the virus much better. So now the next trials will be remdesivir plus this. So this is now everybody is after this virus, but you also know the virus has a vulnerability. So that is the big change. Now there's one more thing before I go away that I will tell you about a new development. And that new development is about a concern that many of us have had for some time, and that many of you have expressed to me also in your responses. This is the discovery in South Korea, a country in the forefront of controlling the COVID epidemic, that many people who were declared as cured earlier have again tested positive. So how has that happened? So the presumption has been that this is not a fresh infection. This is not a revival of an old infection. This is basically the material from old dead viruses that is floating up and showing in tests. And so far, the results were in various labs around the world that these patients could no longer infect anybody, which means that this virus in them was dead. So now there is a press conference held in South Korea addressed by Dr. Oh Myung-don, who is the head of the Clinical Committee of Emerging Disease Control in Korea. And he said now it's conclusively proven that these tests detected the RNA of the dead virus. And he held his press conference at the National Medicine Center. I am again giving you a link from the Korean press so you can read that in detail. And he explained that epithelial cells in our respiratory system, the outermost layer of cells, they have a half-life of about 3 months. They half die in 3 months. But even after they die, for about 2 months after that, the viruses which had invaded them, that is the coronavirus, the RNA fragments of those viruses still remain in the system and can still be detected by our RT-PCR test, which is our gold standard test now for coronavirus. And what is RT-PCR but reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction test? So the test picks up your DNA, right? But the virus has RNA. So reverse transcriptase convert the RNA into DNA, and polymerase chain reaction then multiplies greatly the number of these converted DNA particles so that your test can pick it up. So that this test can also do also with dead RNA fragments of these viruses. So once again, please don't worry about a reinfection, because there is no evidence of any flu virus in the past coming back like this. And to think that this COVID-19 will be a unique one, unique monster in that sense as well, I think this can be set aside. The Korean Center for Disease Control also has announced that this virus can no longer, these fragments that are being seen can no longer replicate. So this should set that controversy to rest. So with all this, we have some good news. A lot of work remains to be done, but once again, as Dr. Fauci said, somebody has shown you the way, somebody has opened the door. So in this case, somebody has opened the door and somebody has shut the door on a fear. Somebody has opened the door on a hope, and someone else has shut the door on a fear that the virus can reinfect you.